Hey everybody, it's Bust with Bust Builds Decks number 10. Today, we're continuing on our adventures through Balatro. And so I made the note in the previous video, my intent for the next little bit of the series is to try and push ourselves up to that gold stake. That's the one up at the very top. I'm intending to do the majority of this with the yellow deck. And so if you get tired of us playing yellow deck, let me know. I feel like it's kind of safe in the sense that the decks aren't that different. It's not to say that there's not a big difference between, say, starting with yellow deck and starting with checkered deck or whatever the one is called, right? The 26 spades and 26 hearts. It is very kind of polarized as compared to playing with the yellow deck to where you just start with 10 gold. But the difference between, say, like red deck to where you get +1 discard and then the +1 hand from blue deck isn't that different. I think yellow deck is kind of up there in that same vein. But nonetheless, we're going to try and take this up through the black stake today. This has it to where the shops can have eternal jokers to where they cannot be sold or destroyed. And so that's what we're running up against. Let's go ahead, dive into battle, see if something cool turns up. And so to kick things off, we have a potential voucher to skip, not super interested. +3 hand size, not particularly interested as well. So this will not be one of these runs to where we just auto skip straight on to the boss round. We'll see if we get any build arounds here at the beginning to really amp up what we can do. And so I was going to say the thing that I typically just start with at the beginning of these games now is to just shoot for flushes. I'll just discard until we get a big flush. Very easy to hit 300 or 450 chips with a single flush, and then you get that bonus money from the hands. But kicking things off with a full house felt reasonable. I fully expected that to just get us out of the round right from the get-go. 12 chips short, a bit unfortunate, but no problems here with the small blind today. All right, starting off with the yellow deck, though, we get a little bit of bonus gold here, right? You don't get anything for the small blinds, but we get that 2 interest from starting at 10, along with that 2 from the hands we had remaining. And so, reasonable stuff here. Earn an extra $1 of interest for every $5 you have at the end of the round is actually, pretty reasonable at this point. I think we can shoot up through the money very quickly with that if we wanted to. Hanging Chad is a fairly nice build around. It's kind of a mid-game build around though, right? If you've really kind of determined what your strategy is and you're allowed to kind of hone in on it, then you can really get a lot of value out of re-triggering the first card used in scoring, or if you have a bunch of Arcana packs that you've opened to get the glass cards out to the left or whatever. But the thing I'm actually going to start with here is the Spectral pack. These things are so swingy that you can turn up with a lot of just very powerful things right from the start. And so with this, destroy a random card in hand to get 2 random enhanced aces. It's not bad. I would be most certainly fine with that right at the beginning of a run. But as we kick out here with Immolate, I'm definitely interested in this. Destroy 5 random cards in hand to gain 20 gold. Not that big of a investment at this point, but having that interest-based card, the interest-based joker out there as well, to where we can just ramp up to big money right at the beginning of the run, I'm very excited with this. And so, a very mid set of things that we went in and discarded there. Now we can pick up both of these jokers. We're at the 25, so we're locked and loaded in terms of money, and then we should be getting that 10 interest each round. Just start really popping off with the money as fast as we can here. All right, I thought we just hit a straight flush right from the start. We got the 2, 3, 5, and I just saw all these clubs turning up. But let's just go ahead and drop this flush. This is going to be a 2 or 3 hander that we have to go through here. Could spend some of these discards and look for something slightly bigger, but I'm just going to assume this will be 2 hands and then we'll be out. What do we got? Looking towards a spade flush here. Sounds reasonable to me. That ace-high flush should be good enough to just push us through the round now. Keep on discarding, see what turns up. Ace 9, 8, 7, 4. That should do it. And so yeah, I've bitched quite a bit over the course of the past few videos in terms of not liking to do these really grindy runs to where it feels like the payoff is just playing the same round over and over and over again. I feel like that's kind of like starting to wane. Like I feel like I'm starting to get into the flow of the game. There's not as much stuff as you have to just sit around and think about, at least for me, right? If you're playing your first few trials throughout the course of the game, there's still a ton to think about, but I feel like, if there's it's that kind of adage as to where if there's 100 things to think about, you don't really need to think about all 100. You can kind of quickly eliminate some of the outliers. And as you first start the game, you're only really able to eliminate like 5 or 10 of them. But I'm getting to that point where I feel like we can kind of eliminate 50, and we can just kind of start auto passing through a lot of things and really grinding into a lot of those rounds that feel like they're going to last longer. So let's see, the jokers are coming in now to where we have to be a little bit more careful about what we take. The +2 multiplier per reroll in the shop. Oh, we're going to get the bonus for every time we reroll. I'm moderately interested in it. Like, there's two things with this joker. Like, number one, we're really kind of stacked off on the money theme right now, so we should actually end up rerolling quite a bit in this run. But this is going to kind of like cap out. It may be like 10 multiplier or something, because I tend to just buy all of the cards and not actually spend too much rerolling. But I feel like, you know, these multipliers in the early game are exceptionally good, right? If we quickly pick up even just like +4 multiplier, that's a pretty big deal. And so I am kind of interested in the joker. I'm going to circle back to it though. The temperance here we can, you know, easily use for value as well. Get the current sell value of all the jokers. But I'm going to kick off with an Arcana pack. We may end up just generating a joker. I want to see what turns up in that sense. Bonus cards is fine. Wheel of Fortune is whatever. And then create a random joker. Let's go with that one. The half card. I forget what this is. +20 mult if the hand contains 3 or fewer cards. I think that that's probably good enough for us to not need to take this joker here. So let's crack open the Celestial pack. What do we got? We could look to start building towards 3 of a kinds, right? We have the half joker that likes it, and then we have the Venus at the 3 of a kind in terms of the planet cards. My thing with the half joker is, if say you're out here trying to build towards 3 of a kind, you still want to play more than 3 cards, right? You want to play like ace, 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 stone, stone, and you don't really want to just stop at 3. And so I look at this half joker as something that's good through like round 4, round 5, round 6, to where you can just play the 3 cards and quit, but it's not something I want to fully build towards. I'm just going to take the Jupiter here for the flush. It's something I think will more realistically go towards at the end of the day. And we'll look at the half joker as something that we're just going to just randomly use at some point. All right, we'll keep that voucher around. I'm not one that I'm the hugest fan of. But let's see. Okay, kick it off with a flush right from the start. All right. No discards needed today. Shit. What the fuck? I missed dropping the 3. Oh my god. I hope we can still win this. So how do we pivot out of that misclick? I guess we want to really try and get this half joker up and running. So I think we need to focus on the 10 plus cards so we can use the Hanging Chad and collect on the multiplier. So let's discard everything that costs little monies, right? We want to make 3 of a kinds out of these things. Gonna send the 10 away now as well, now that we've hit more face cards. All right, what you got for us, game? Not quite what we're looking for. So we'll go queen, queen. We'll drop a card along with it, so we're still under 3. We get a little bit of a kind of pseudo discard here. But realistically, this is not going to be any trouble to hit 600, right? It's going to be multiplier +20. It should be easy. Read into that a little bit too much as to how bad the round was going to be. You make that misclick, and then you think your life is just over, huh? You think it's just done. But we fought through at the end of the day, collected all of that interest. Feels good. What do we got now? The High Priestess generating planets is whatever. 100 chips if the played hand contains 3 of a kind. And so it's really trying to get us to do this thing, huh? It's really trying to drive us home into just playing 3 of a kinds. And you know what? Fucking fine, right? So let's still at least drop this Arcana pack first. See if we get something that changes our mind in the least. Convert to diamonds, wild card, left card to right card. All right, I guess we're just gonna be in. So I'll convert left to right, start generating these aces. If we're going to go for 3 of a kinds, I want it to be on the higher end of the spectrum of the cards that we're going to be playing. We're going to take this joker, open this celestial pack, I guess. It's got 3 of a kind in there for us. So we're definitely going to have to do a little bit of work to build up to that, right? Just having the kind of random collection deck doesn't do a ton in terms of building three of a kinds. And so we're going to need some Arcana packs to kind of curate what we're trying to do. Let's see. We can make some easy discards here. Don't want these small cards. Want to come in and make some big ones. Didn't find any. All right, pair of queens, do your thing. But see, this is what I was kind of... I wasn't talking about this in terms of the half Joker being able to really pop off with this multiplier. It was that other one, right? The reroll one, to where, you know, if you have like +4, +6 multiplier in the early game, that'll carry you pretty far. But this, the +20 multiplier is a whole different story. It really just pops. All right, got all them dollars. What do we got now? +50 chips if the hand contains a pair. In case you aren't familiar with how these work, playing three of a kind does contain a pair, right? And so the way the game works is it doesn't specifically read that you played a three of a kind. It looks at kind of all the combinations that you can play. And playing three of a kind does contain a pair, right? You play 3 kings. There are 2 kings within that hand, so you would get the bonus from this. But kind of like as we've been mentioning with these other ones, this is a bit of an early game Joker that we can't sell because it's eternal. And so I'm actually kind of interested in Smiley Face. This is a nice build around towards what we're doing. If we can, you know, only have high cards, face cards within our deck, getting the face cards to give the +4 multiplier is good, and then the Hanging Chad will double up on the Smiley Face for that bonus. So I think that's a good place to be. Let's take a look at that. See what else we can buy this round. Start spending off these dollars. Who do we have? Temperance. We can go ahead and use Temperance since we're maxed out on Jokers. Get the $10 there. Increase the rank is fine. Gold card is not that great. And then the Fool. I guess we should have looked, but I don't think our previous card was that good. But let's increase the rank of 2 cards by 1. I don't want to push up towards aces, right? We want the face cards to work with the Smiley Face. So let's upgrade the 10s into jacks. Might actually look to take the aces out of our deck. I know we upgraded something into ace earlier, but that was before we were really kind of honed in on this strategy here. So what do we got now? Stone card turns up. That's exactly what I was talking about in terms of the usage with the half Joker. We want to play 3 of a kind, but we want to play 3 of a kind and then 2 stone cards. If we drop the stone cards, then we miss out on the bonus. The thing to kind of tie into that would be if we just don't play 3 of a kind, if we just play pairs or high cards, then it will work. But I feel like when you start to have things like the Smiley Face involved, that you just don't want to be playing toward the stones. And so I'm going to let that go. We'll skip over that one. I know that the pair Joker is still in here, but I just don't want to be locked into this wily Joker and not using it. Like, we might end up just selling this half Joker at some point. Maybe that would have been the more of the reason to take the stone, right? If we're just going to sell the half at some point. But let's go ahead and spend the planet thing, hit a pair. And I know you can't see it, but it looks like we hit straight flush in here. Go ahead and use that as well. I don't feel like the 1 gold is that worthwhile to waste. All right, so let's jump into the next round. We'll look to sell, let's spend down some more of this money here in a little bit. But I'm going to start looking for those face cards. Going to even discard these aces now. There's the 3 of a kind jack. Big money rolling through. Easy 1500 here. Where does that get us with the 3 jacks? So just under 8K. Nice to keep in mind as we've got to try and figure out how we can clear some of these big blinds to where our weakest preferred hand is, right? You know, it's the weakest in the sense that it doesn't have any bonuses attached to those jacks, but we do want to be playing the 3 of a kind out of the face cards. But all right, let's see what we can do. I'm going to spend the Emperor first to get the 2 random tarot cards so that we can then just bump one of these Arcana packs and potentially use the stuff in the middle. So we hit increase the rank of 2 selected cards by 1, and then we have a glass card in here as our first kind of upgrader, if you will. So what else do we got? Convert to spades, don't care. Planet cards is meh. We'll use the Wheel of Fortune. I'm on board with that. But as far as this hand goes, let's do this. Like, I'm fine to go ahead and just drop the glass card. That's one to where if it was later in the run, we would be interested in like specifically choosing a card in hand during the middle of a blind battle to spend that. But at this stage, I'm not super worried about it. And with this, I mean, there is some argument to just go ahead and upgrade these jacks. Maybe it's not as bad to do the 10 and the 8, because the 10 is going to become jack. It's kind of useless on the 9, but if we turn the 8 to 9, we can turn 9 to 10. Oh, that just takes fucking forever to do. Let's hang on to the strength for a bit, and then we'll just roll the Wheel of Fortune. Nope. It feels like the Wheel of Fortune and the glass card aren't actually 25%. Somebody went out of their way to make it work in a strange way. What do we got? Clubs, whatever. Gold card, meh. Convert left to right is fine. Wheel of Fortune again if we want. And then 2 cards to bonus cards. I would like 2 cards to bonus cards, but we don't have a ton of good options in here. So let's just convert this 2 into a jack. We might actually find ourselves becoming... what? Wrong card? Oh, left to right. Gotcha. We might actually, give up on that Joker, the half Joker, and then look to become a 4 of a kind, 5 of a kind style of deck. See what turns up. 2 cards to mult cards is fine. Each king held in hand gives 1.5x mult. Like, I'm actually super interested in this. It just works with everything that we have going on right now. We are going to have to do a touch of work to upgrade our face cards into kings, but just getting that big multiplier out of those kings in hand, like if we have 4 kings in hand and play 3 of them, that's just like such a big deal. And so I think that's what we want at this point. I'm not quite ready to give up on our economy. Let's just sell this half Joker. I'm kind of done with that guy anyways. Get that big X multiplier in here. I like what's happening. We're getting built up nicely here. All right, so we start with 0 discards. Let me make sure I haven't messed this up. Just the wily Joker giving us the chips for 3 of a kind. Keep wanting to play face cards. We can play something like triple jack and then still collect on the king in hand. Now that we've gotten rid of that half Joker, it also feels better in the sense that we can play the 10 and the 5, and we aren't losing out on anything, right? We used to have 3 or less cards in hand to spike the... To spike the bonuses, but it's not a thing now. Actually, which one is this? Increase the rank of up to 2 cards by 1. Why don't we do this, right? Let's upgrade the queen into a king, and then the 10 into a jack. And then we can just play like 4 of a kind jack. It's going to instantly end the round here. Let's put... I want to spend the other tarot card. I like to be in these spots to where we have all of this money, and as we run through, we'll just end up buying all of the tarot cards, and I don't like having them stuck in our hand where we potentially can't get rid of them. So this should be pretty straightforward. We're going to blast through this round now. How big's this? 18K? Not bad, not bad. We're primed and ready to make a good run here. I like this direction that we've got. It feels like it didn't take us long to figure out what we wanted to do. What do we got in the voucher? Good jokers turn up more often. That's not so bad. I'll take it. Otherwise, these planet cards sucked, right? We have the 8-ball I don't want. High card I'm not really interested in. Celestial packs don't really want. Let's take a reroll. Oh yeah, I want to spend a Wheel of Fortune. Nope. All right, that's the second one. So we got to be like a 50-50 on the next one, right? I think that's the way the math works. If you take a 1 in 4 chance 4 times and you miss twice, that means it has to hit on one of the next 2. 100% not the way math works, but you gotta like it. Now this is an interesting round, right? I'm gonna play the blinds, like the buffoon pack. I don't care about rerolls. I don't care about. We are about to run into all face cards are drawn face down, but I think that we can still manage that, right? I mean, we're not trying to make straights. We're trying to make three of a kinds and better. And so if we play three face down face cards, then we're probably pretty close to hitting whatever we want, especially if like we pick a side, right? So if we play the 5 to the left or we play the 5 to the right, we're going to be more likely to have kings on the left and jacks on the right. And so I think it shit, I didn't mean to skip that. I think it should just work itself out. What is this? Every card counts as scoring. Don't want. Face cards give 30 chips when scored. I would like to have it since we do have the smiley face. I mean, we could give up on To the Moon at this point to pick up something like this. Let me come back and think about that. Add to the malt, I kind of like as well. We do pick up a fair amount of like static malt off the smiley face plus the hanging chad. It's just we do get like such good synergies between the hanging chad and then the smiley face and then adding in the scary face. I think I'm okay with it. So let's sell our moneymaker here. Gotta pick up another joker just to sell. I wish you could see which one would sell for the most, but you can't. Then we'll add in the scary face. All right. Up and running, up and running. So we're just gonna keep discarding until we get to the face cards we want. This will be another super easy end of the round with the 3 kings in hand, giving us that giant multiplier. Good stuff. Good stuff. Watch the noises ding in. Smashed it. 21K. GG, big blind. All right, what do we got? These jokers not super interested in, right? We passed on Splash earlier. This popcorn joker is not that big of a deal. We do have to watch ourselves a little bit. We are going to be missing out on a little bit of money since we got rid of our interest generator, but none of this garbage we want. Let's just skip, right? We're gonna, if we end up in that spot to where we want to start picking up vouchers, it's nice to know what we can get there. So let's see. We know where the face cards are. We just don't know what they are, so we'll discard these smaller ones. Going to start discarding aces as well. So now we're up to 5. I think we want... Oh, we're out of discards. Now, this is actually kind of interesting, right? Because our kings are so strong, just sitting in our hand. I'm curious if we ever want to do something like this, to where we just play the 3 on the right. Maybe it's like a pair of jacks. It's never just high card. Like, it's either a pair or... I think this is okay to do. Let's see how this plays out. Pair of jacks. That did work out nicely as well, that the queen didn't score, so we get to use this multi-jack multiple times. We'll see if the bonuses hit out of the hand as well. Ooh, we had 3 kings in hand. That's kind of what I was aiming to have happen with that space. Not necessarily hitting 3 kings, but knowing that we'll probably hit at least 1. Good stuff. All right, what do we got? +1 hand size. Sure. Nice little voucher there. What do we got? Convert to hearts, random joker, not interested in. See if this spectral pack turns up anything big. What do we got? Create a joker, or create a copy of a joker, then destroy the other ones. That's not something I'm really willing to do. It was a lot more interesting before the Eternal Jokers came about, when you could just like sell down to the one that you wanted to copy. But I don't think, like, losing out on any of these jokers isn't a big deal besides the Baron, but I don't think the upside is really that high. Like, if we have 2 smiley faces, are we really that happy about it? I mean, not really. If we're playing 3 jacks at the same time, that's only +12 mult out of this card. It's not like we're getting a super value out of it. So I think we'll skip over that. Add bonus to a card in hand is good. What else do you got? Destroy random card in hand, add 3 random face cards. That's quite good here, especially given the spread of cards we have, and we're only in, like, the king is the only one we're kind of sad about losing. I think that's where we're on board to, and then convert to a single suit. Okay. Destroy a random, get 3 enhanced face cards. And of course, I'm still happy with the return, getting the three kings back out of it. But man, that's a load of shit, am I right? Oh, retrigger all played face cards. What did we have? We only have retrigger the first. Now we have retrigger all. I don't think we want 2 of these abilities, right? I think just getting this one retrigger is going to be good enough. Good stuff. All right, what do we got now? Arcana pack, I am into. Getting 12 gold, not that big of a deal. And then at the end, spade cards are debuffed. So let's pick up this Mega Arcana pack, get 2 choices out of it. See if we can't make some more face cards along the way. So we got glass card, hearts, steel card, clubs, and planets. Not that strong. So I do want to put steel on the king, right? We want the king to just be hanging out in hand, and that's where steel card is good. Was the other one glass? Yeah, I'm just a little bit worried about glass at this stage, so I'm just going to pick up the planets. They aren't particularly exciting, but I just don't think we need glass at this point. Just go ahead and drop these planets, and then we'll move on. All right, you all know the drill. Gonna discard these numbers. We could probably just stop here. We're just I guess we don't quite have a full house in hand. Got all these kings. All right, and then we don't need to reorder, right? Now that we have the all face cards, I guess you do probably want the better ones to the right. I don't think it quite matters here, but watch the victory roll in. But man, I had a nice little memory last night. My wife loves the show Somebody Feed Phil. It's on Netflix. The guy that made Everybody Loves Raymond. It's a travel food eating show. It's very nice. It's a nice comfort show to watch through. But he went to Orlando last night. I guess as you get to like season 7, you know Orlando is kind of in the mix of where to go. I guess I can't talk too much trash about Orlando because it's not like he's gone to Kansas City, but he went to Orlando, and that's where Disney World is, and that has a very kind of fond memory for me in my youth. It's the thing that really got me into competitive card gaming, in the sense that, cycle through these jokers real quick, not really seeing anything I want. 8 malt if the hand has a pair, not interested. Good tarot card though. All right, we'll stop here and keep the rest of the money. But when I was young, they in Magic the Gathering, they had a thing called the Junior Super Series, which was kind of like 15 and under division for competitive play, and then the payouts in these events were astronomically good, in the sense that first place got $1,000 scholarship, which was basically they just gave you $1,000 when you turned 18. You got Magic for a year, so you won 3 boxes of product. You won the current set and then the next 2 sets, and then moving down the list, like you got a box for getting second. And then they had they had kind of like judge promos in it, which I sold here recently for a fair amount of dollars. I think the Lord of Atlantis might have been worth a couple. Maybe it wasn't Lord of Atlantis and it was a different one that was worth money, but it seems like something came about from that. But the kind of big thing with it was it qualified you for the Junior National Championship in Disney World. This is actually decent here, right? +2 hand size, but -1 hand per round. Is there anything we would want to sell for that? I'd sell Wily Joker for it, but we can't quite do that. But as they were talking about Disney World, it reminded me of being, I don't know, 15, whatever I was. I only went once. I think I was 16 at the time when I went and played, but I would have been 15 years old when I was actually qualifying for the event, and it was just a fond memory of. Hang on, I'm gonna start messing this up. I'm gonna convert left to right. It's like we've got the fool in here, and I kind of want to get usage out of it. So let's do this. Let's convert left to right. We'll turn the 3 into the good jack. And then we'll take the fool so we can do that again in the next round. But no, it was like my intro to the competitive scene, and our families were so good about it. One of my best friends in life, we traveled around to all of these things, and you know, there's a lot of negatives about being in this space of West Virginia. 2 selected cards by 1, given that you know, it's just kind of a small place to be, and you wouldn't really expect it to be a mecca of Magic the Gathering, but it is in this space to where there's so many cities that were holding these tournaments that were close by. And so like if you wanted to go within like a 3-hour circle of things in West Virginia, you could go to like Lexington, Kentucky, you could go to Louisville, Kentucky, you could go to Cincinnati in Ohio, you could go to Columbus in Ohio, and then if you wanted to expand out to like 4 or 5 hours, you could go to Indianapolis, you could go to Cleveland, you could go to Detroit, you could go to Pittsburgh. On the other side of the state to the west, it's not exciting to go to Virginia, but that's where Star City is in Roanoke, and then you could also go to Charlotte, North Carolina. And so it was like nothing was directly there in West Virginia, but you had all these opportunities to just travel very close. And our parents were awesome enough to take us around to all of those things. And like, if you're ever wondering how you kind of like get into that competitive space, it was there. Like, nobody does that anymore. Nobody is like, oh yeah, we want to have this this competitive scene for the children to play in, to kind of build up to playing on the Pro Tour. And I'm just kind of curious how much that stuff is just, you know, straight up gone now, in the sense that like Hearthstone tried it. Hearthstone was the digital card game that gave it a shot, and it just didn't work. And then from that point forward, like is like a game like One Piece or a game like Lorcana gonna kind of pick up the banner and have some kind of pro scene, or have something you know, geared towards the younger folks to get them in it as kind of lifelongers? And I doubt it. I don't imagine that that's going to be a thing. And so, you know, I was very lucky in being able to have that in my youth. But that's what old Phil reminded me of last night. We were seeing him in Orlando playing in the junior nationals. Learned a wonderful lesson there as well. I had done the majority of my testing with like they called it the Fires of Yavimaya was the big build around card within it. It costs 1, a red and a green. It gives all of your creatures haste. There's another card called Sapperling Burst, which it came into play with like 7 counters on it. You would remove a counter, and then you would get a unit with the size of the number of counters left. So if you took 1 counter off, you had a 6/6. If you had 2 counters off, you had 2 5/5s. If you had 3 counters off, you had 3 4/4s. And then with those units all having haste, you could make these very big attacks. You often just end the game on turn 5. But I made like a lot of changes to the deck like the night before the event, and just completely threw away everything that I practiced. And I'm pretty confident that I went like 0-3 or 1-3 or 1-4 or something, and just got completely annihilated. It was a nice lesson to not read into things too much, and you got to be certain about that technology if you're going to switch it right before the event starts. But it was fun. The Wide World of Sports, the Disney World, holding the children's card gaming event, actually for children. But all right, what do we got here? I feel like I'm kind of on autopilot as far as this run has become. I'm going to take the free cards for the next one. Who's the final boss here? The first hand is drawn face down. Whatever, +3 hand size doesn't tie into that. Feels like we're really just smashing everything here, right? We've got our deck really well honed to what we want to do. The strategy does not take too much effort to figure out. You look at these cards and say, is this a face card? No. Then I'm going to discard it. And then we're either going to play a 3 of a kind, a 4 of a kind, or a full house. Looks like we got a 4 of a kind jacks if we want. We'll go ahead and drop that. If it fails for whatever reason, we can probably cycle back to some kind of like 3 of a kind queen. And if that's not enough, we do still have all of these kings just hanging out in hand. Everything's going just fine out here. So where are we at with this as we roll into the boss round? Just smashing them with 133k. Easy peasy. Definitely don't feel too bad about going into the boss. And it's got, you know, a lot of that same mixture as we saw in the previous hands, as to where we're about to go into, you know, you draw your hand face down. We're going to discard 5 cards right at the start. But then we'll have a pretty good idea of what remains in our hand after that, right? So we'll discard the 5 to the right, see what turns up in terms of the face cards. Everything to the left of this jack should be a face card, right? So I think I'm going to just do this. I'm going to definitely discard the 4 to the right. How do we feel about discarding the 1 to the left in the event that it's an ace? I think it might be okay. Like the real risk in that space is if it's a jack, or if it's a king that we're discarding, it doesn't feel very good. And so I'm going to hang on to this one now. We should just know, right? Oh, we definitely know now, right? We have the king at the very left, and so we don't know what this kind of space is, but we know we can at least run out. We can run out this full house, queens full of jacks, and we have 2, maybe 3 kings in here. I have a Planet Earth card up here, so let's drop this Earth full house before we play the full house. And then I don't know. We only need 64k. This is gonna be easy 100k. No problems. No problems. Yeah. The beeps are coming in. Nailed it. 100k. All right, got a big pile of money as well. It's tough for me to decide how much you want to spend on rerolls, right? You're getting, you know, 13 gold at the end of the round. We'll just call it 10 in general. And to be spending like 5 and then 6 and then 7 is 13 gold in rerolls. And so it's you know, a very large amount of money that we're actually out here spending. Then I don't like standard packs. I guess we'll see if a king turns up. Oh shit. Oh shit. These are big time. This jack is fucking insane. It's got the X 1.5 multiplier. It's got the extra chips attached to it, and then the red seal to re-roll. So we'll get to re-roll this 4 times whenever we play it. Fuck me. I guess we gotta we gotta stop talking shit about the standard packs. That's how they get you, huh? That's how they get you. That's the that's the drug dealer rolling through, just giving you a free hit of crack, huh? He says, give this a taste, bust, if you don't like opening booster packs. Jeez. Alright, so these shiny jokers aren't very good. 2 pair I'm not opposed to taking. Might end up with 2 pair plus a stone card or something, sure. Got in here. Chips in deck, not excited about. Flush cards, I don't care. Take 1 more roll and call it a day. Hanging Chad, we've already gotten rid of. 1 in 3 chance for Heart Suit to give X2 Malt. That's not bad. If we didn't already have the king thing that we've been building around, right? If this is a state to where we're like, okay, we're on ante 7, we've been kind of struggling to get through, we've got some chip bonuses with the Joker, we've got some minor malt things with the small face, we just need some big scaling now, I wouldn't be opposed to this, right? And then we could still kind of craft our deck a little bit to have hearts in it, to maybe feel like we're going to get about X1, X2 out of every hand, but we just don't need it at this point. I feel like we have everything we need to really succeed, and we're just kind of looking for upgrades at this space. Let's see what we get. Take the Celestial pack, see if we can't find any of our big hands. Full houses in here, I like that. Four of a kind is in here as well. I definitely want full house. It's tough for me to decide. I mean, I don't know which one is. I guess we can look at the run info and see what we've played. We played 3 four of a kinds. How many 3 of a kinds have we played? 3. So they're kind of right there in that same space. I'll just upgrade the 3 of a kind. I feel like that's probably the more common one we're going to play. Like, I could definitely see us being in this space to where it's like we run out the 3 of a kind jacks and then we run out the 3 of a kind queens. Planets, joker card, tarot cards, clubs, and destroy 2. So let's destroy 2. Get these smaller cards out of hand. Create 2 tarot cards. Okay. What do we got? The Tooth. Lose $1 for every card played. I can handle that. So let's see. Aces, numbers. Get out of here. Oh, there's our big boy. There's the big shiny right there, huh? Oh, this is going to be a massive hand. I can't wait to see how this turns out. There goes our last discard. So we'll put this the shiny jack way down to the end. So we got 4 of a kind jacks with the stone. Only 1 king applying to the multiplier here, but this has got to be enough to just end, right? This is going to be huge. Watch how many times this jack of spades pops. It's going to be sweet. One, 2, 3, 4. Thanks, fam. I think that's how it works, right? Did it only go 3? I don't know. Retrigger and then retrigger. It doesn't say retrigger twice and then twice. Maybe it only did it 3. I don't know. I'm gonna say 4. I'm the one making the video. I get to say it if I want to. It's right. You don't have to be right. You just have to be the loudest one. That's that's the key to getting by in these things. So what do we have here? Make something a gold card. I don't even want to use that. We'll just go ahead and sell it. I'm up at this tarot card space up at the top. Now we can make mult cards. We've got the king and the jack. We can make something a mult card, or we have the bonus card thing down at the bottom. Probably just want the multiplier, right? We already have the scary face. I feel like the scary face and the wily joker give us enough in the sense of chip generation. We'll just take the big multipliers. So what else do we got? Create tarot card. Sure. Gives us a moon, which converts to clubs. Don't care about. But then we got a stone card. Go ahead and use it as well. We'll just autopilot here a little bit. Gonna sell off the moon. And then guess we could pick planet cards. Picking up 13 gold doesn't feel that spectacular. I guess we could make another stone card as well. Sure. Crack that standard pack. It's going to be all commons, and we're not going to feel good about it. So what do we got here? There is just this, like, natural jack. I'm kind of mad about the queen. Not that spectacular either, so I'm just going to skip over these. We already got our exciting one. That's all we get. Don't have a ton of steel cards. Hand size. All right, skip. So what do we got? Rolling through the final round. The boss is going to be all cards debuffed until 1 joker is sold. That's kind of fine. I think probably be the space to where we just sell the smiley face, right? This is served its role. And it does work nice with the sock and buskin, but it's not something we're gonna need at the end of the day. So I definitely don't want to re-roll this boss blind. We're gonna smash through this, and so we'll follow on with the standard strategy, and then we'll skip the next round, and then once we get to that. Once we get to that final boss, we'll just sell off the smiley face and be good to go. I feel like it's an easy shot call to say that we're going to win this round. It's gone very well. One, Play again. I missed it. I was highlighting and hovering and it didn't quite turn up. Man, only 780k. Not even a million. We're losing it. We're losing it. All right, so final shop, what do we got here? I do like the hallucination, but it is not the time for a value tarot card thing at this stage of the run. X2 Malt. This is actually kind of nice to pick up going into the last round. But I don't think we need it. Let's just skip it in. Anything cool? Vagabond, no. Hallucination, we just skipped on. Create tarot card, no. One hand size, all right, skip it. Let's get in here. Easy game on this boss. Smiley face, you did the work. I'm smiling, you're smiling. Good job, my friend. Let's finish this off. Curious if we should actually be discarding this stone card and then just making another one. Like, I would much rather just have kings in hand than stone cards. So I think that was a reasonable discard. Alright, so let's drop the 3 of a kind jack with the stone. It may not be enough out of this hand. Like, I'm not worried about losing the run. Like, we're 100% going to beat this boss. I don't know about beating it on this hand, though. That's definitely suspect hitting 180k. This is a fairly weak hand that we've put together. Yeah, only 27k. Uh-oh. Did we did we go too hard? Did we go too hard? Let's do this. Let's play the pair. This is kind of like a discard. We still have 2 hands that we can play after this, and see if we can't get up to a different 3 of a kind. What do we got now? We can play queens for a full of 4s. I think that's a reasonable space to be in. We lose out on 1 stone card or 1 steel card, but I think this is okay. Man, were we really missing out on that much multiplier, not having the not having that 1 ability? I mean, I guess it was giving us like 20. Oh man, I don't know. I don't know if this is enough now. We missed out on our very good jack, right? He's not here. I don't know. This doesn't feel like 120k anymore. It doesn't feel like it. Oh man. We're totally gonna lose this round, aren't we? Should we have sold the face card, the scary face, instead of the multiplier thing? Oh my gosh, we're so short. Lessons learned, huh? Lessons learned at Disney World, lessons learned here. God, that was brutal. I just assumed that was just like, I don't know if I was just blinded by how good that 1 jack was, and we had that jack like 3 hands in a row at the very end, or if that was just like a low roll at the end, right? We did have the option, like we started off with 3 of a kind jack into like 3 of a kind queen or something like that, and we could have just played full house off the jacks and the queens right from the get-go, and that might have been a better way to do it. But man, like that's so wild to go from like hitting like 800k on one hand and easily hitting over 100k hand after hand after hand, and then coming up into this 180k round and then just like falling, not even like falling short like a little bit, just falling short heavily, right? We didn't even get halfway to the final score. And so I don't know what happened there. If we did lose out on, I guess, quite a bit of multiplier, right? If we're, say that we're, the way our deck was set up, if we played 3 of a kind jack, we're gonna pick up the 4 multiplier 6 times, so we'd get 24 multiplier, and then we had all of those 1.5 jokers in, or the 1.5 things in the back line. Maybe that was the problem. Maybe I underestimated how much value we were actually getting out of that static multiplier, and we shouldn't have taken the chips, right? Because I guess the thing with how that has to have been what the problem was, right? We threw away the wrong face card, and we should have kept the multiplier face card and gotten rid of the chip face card, because I have this kind of like visioning in my head and how these things scale. And as your chips are like very low, it doesn't matter if you have a gigantic multiplier, but our multiplier scales on top of the static multiplier, right? So we get the whatever it is 24 static, but then it gets 1.5 and then 1.5 and then 1.5 and then x2 at the end, to where with the bonus chips they're just static. They never get, we don't have some kind of X bonus onto the chips. And so that had to have been what the actual problem was there, right? We could get the 100 chips off of the 3 of a kind Joker that we are stuck with, but picking up, what is it, 30 at base, so like 30 times 6, like 180 chips is all that face card would have really given us on 3 of a kind. Just does not match up to getting the stacking bonuses out of the multipliers. And so if I was better at math, I would have probably picked up on that a little bit sooner. But now that I've got that little bit of knowledge locked into my head, we'll be good to go in the future. And so I hope you were able to pick up on that as well. Whew. And so, man, unfortunate. Not a winning run. I don't want to call it a losing run, because I feel like we learned quite a bit in that run. I feel like we had a good start. We got a lot of direction at the beginning. We did a lot of good navigating the Jokers and figuring out where we wanted the deck to go. It was just that one misplay right at the end that really kind of canceled the run. And so I don't want to feel like it was a loss. I feel like it was definitely a win. We just didn't get enough chips to finish off the game. It's good stuff. So nonetheless, I had fun with that. I hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. So if everyone enjoyed the video, hope we maybe learned a thing or two along the way. I had a good time watching. This is Bustin'. We thank you for being here.